another sort of middling day in the markets, Carol Massar, but this time, unlike yesterday, firmly to the downside.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, bouncing around here. We were talking with our Eric Weiner here at Bloomberg News, who covers the markets, and he said some of that downturn that we saw in the 2 o'clock hour had to do with some of the comments that Elon Musk said on a competing network about robo-taxis and kind of prioritizing that. That's an expensive cost. There's a lot of questions to be figured out by that. So his take was that maybe there was some nervousness in the market. Keep in mind, you know, Tesla's about 2% of the S&P 500 and more than 3% of the NASDAQ 100. So possibly putting some pressure there.
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the session, Tesla was higher by as much as 3.8%.
Almost 4%.
Yeah, so that was pretty big. Yeah. Then it moved lower. Now it's, you know, just about half a percentage higher. But 6 of the 7 other Mag 7 stocks are actually lower right now. NVIDIA and Apple dragging the index down.
You know, when you take a step back, there's no real significant economic data, at least so far this week, right? We had leading index yesterday. We had the Philly services today. So we have a momentum-driven market for the most part. In equities, it basically means recovering from that post-April 2nd drop, and then you have a weaker dollar, and of course you have higher yields. But the actual levels day in and day out, you're just kind of tweaking around the margins.
Yeah, good point. We're also headed into a 3-day holiday weekend here in the United States here, so that's going to have a big effect as well. We are expected to get some earnings after the bell tonight, including from Toll Brothers and Palo Alto Networks as we get the closing bells here in New York. Right across the screen for most of the major indices, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down more than 100 points or 0.3%. The S&P down 23 or 0.4%, while the NASDAQ falling by a similar percentage amount. And your bright spot on the day, that's going to belong to the Russell 2000. Outperformance up 1 point. Or less than 0.1%.
All right, so a little bit of outperformance there. Hey, looking at the S&P 500, going back to the big caps, folks, most names in the index lower in today's session. 328 to the downside. Scarlet, 173, actually gaining some ground here.
All right, let's take a look at the IMAP. A lot of red on that screen, and the worst decliners on the day are energy stocks, down by about 1%. That was the same case as yesterday, and in fact, energy is down about 3% so far this year. Communication services, consumer discretionary, also lower by at least 0.5%. On the upside, there are 3 slivers of green pie slices. You have utilities, healthcare, and consumer staples, so pretty defensive sectors there.
All right, guys, let's get to some of the individual gainers. A lot of red there, but Moderna, definitely one of the outperformers at its highs, up almost 15% in today's session, finishing the day with a gain of about 6% here. It's had like a 2-day gain of about, I want to say about 10-12% here. Up today, along with shares of other vaccine makers, including Novavax, after the FDA outlined an approach on the path forward for COVID shots that is viewed as better than expected. U.S. regulators, they will no longer approve COVID booster shots for healthy adults nor for children without new studies, adding a costly requirement for drug makers, though they will still be available for millions of high-risk Americans. So the point is the agency's willingness to continue making the shots available for high-risk people with a wide range of health conditions was kind of a relief to the industries. They feared a kind of a bigger wave of restrictions from the Trump administration, so we didn't get that.
Hey, a restriction on COVID shots?
Well, yeah, meaning, like, or basically saying maybe people didn't have to get these, vaccines.
Okay. But if you want to get them, you can do that, right?
I guess you can do
this
that.
is still America, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
I guess so.
Will insurance cover it? That's a question.
That's a good point, right? When there's mandates and so on.
Yeah.
Magnite is another company that was definitely an outperformer. It was up.
Am I allowed to buy this or not? Sorry.
Calgary.
Wow, that was a sigh.
It's up about 11% at its highs, up about 5% here at the close. It's something kind of different, guys. I just threw it out there because I knew Romaine would love it. It's about a $2.3 billion market cap advertising company, and Amazon Publisher Services announced a deeper streaming TV collaboration with the company. So that really saw some move to the upside. And Amer Sports, thank you, Tim, for saying, Carol, you got to do this.
Yes.
Stack up about...
It's a big deal. I'm surprised you didn't leave with us.
But then what would you complain about? All right. Up about 19% in today's session.
Well played, Carol.
Company boosted its adjusted profit forecast for the full year and reported first quarter results that topped expectations.